Hello friends, welcome to Star Explainer. Tales of Herding Gods Part 337 and 338 explains based on novel. So let's start explanation. Qin Mu ate the peach with a sullen face as he walked into the Dao Sect Academy. He turned around and looked back. The 1,000 miles of peach blossoms remained, the flowers swaying in the spring breeze. The girls in the peach forest also remained, hiding in seclusion. Qin Mu knew that Celestial Venerable you wouldn't remain in this forest forever. If there was an opportune moment, she would definitely come out of seclusion. The peach blossom forest was a special heaven, it existed in the primordial realm. This meant that Celestial Venerable you still bore unwillingness to give up the secular world. She had the desire to return, and she was yet to be completely cut off from the emotions of the world. Her taking Qi Xiaoyu in as a disciple was proof of this. As her disciple, Qi Xiaoyu would enter and travel the secular world on her behalf. She symbolized Celestial Venerable Yu's desire to return to the secular world. Even more curiously, Qi Xiaoyu was recommended to Celestial Venerable Yu by South Deity Zhu Q, and so she could also be considered to be South Deity Zhu Q's disciple. As such, this was an interesting situation. Qi Xiaoyu is the disciple of both South Deity and Celestial Venerable Yu. Both of them have trained her well, allowing her to become a strong practitioner of the Emperor's throne. Having undergone multiple betrayals, she grew from a leader of the Phoenix race under Mother Earth to the Red Deity of the Southern Heaven. Qin Mu chewed on the peach until only the kernel was left. His gaze flickered as he revealed an amused smile and thought, the Guardian Pavilion of the Celestial Heavens is in possession of the Jade Scroll runes of South Deity Zhu Q. Evidently, there have long been plans to replace South Deity Zhu Q. In response, South Deity Zhu Q started to groom a successor during the High Emperor era, eliminating the previous Red Deity first, and then training her successor to become the next Red Deity. When the Celestial Heavens decide to kill her, she will then fake her own death and escape, allowing Red Deity Qi Xiaoyu to inherit her power. She will lose nothing while hiding in the shadows. Qin Mu blinked. Sister Zhu Q, standing at the head of the ship on the Celestial River in her red clothing, was unexpectedly sly. Blind didn't return to Dao Sect Academy. It seemed that he was fearful of Miss Yang, and thus decided to escape. In regards to his safety, Qin Mu was unworried. Blind had a burning curiosity, but it was already extremely rare to cultivate God eyes and God mind's eyes. Moreover, his attainments in formation skills were second to none in the Eternal Peace Empire. As long as he didn't seek death on purpose, he wouldn't be in danger. Celestial Venerable Yu wasn't very interested in algebra, yet he still managed to learn most of it in the past few days. The Dragon Chileen was better than him, while only the Water Chileen kept dozing off in class. Qin Mu requested for dismissal from Dao Master Lin Xian. Dao Master will require the assistance of an expert to break through the Divine Bridge Realm and open up the Celestial River Divine Treasure. If you are unable to find such an expert, go to Surging River Academy and look for First Ancestor Human Emperor, he has this ability. Dao Master Lin Xian expressed his thanks. Cult Master, please don't worry. The Sect Master of Clear Sky Heaven should have this ability as well. Where do you intend to go after leaving the Dao Palace? I intend to head to Li River Academy, Jade Capital Academy, River Tomb Academy, Imperial College, and the other academies to take a look and to study the results of the reform over the past years. Qin Mu looked around and continued in a low voice, when the seal of the primordial realm broke, both the real and fake Mother Earth emerged and battled against each other, resulting in great losses on both ends. This is why there hasn't been any movement from either. However, one of them is supported by the ancient Celestial Emperor, while the other is an ancient god. Neither of them will remain quiet for long, they are simply waiting for the appropriate moment. When both Mother Earths act up again, the Dao sect will not be able to stop them, and even the Eternal Peace Empire won't be able to withstand this. If the Tao sect is in danger, Tao Master should lead the scholars into the peach forest to ensure your safety. Tao Master Lin Xian replied, alarmed, Cult Master, did you find anything out of the ordinary when you entered the peach forest? The one within the peach forest is a friend of mine, they bear no ill intentions. Qin Mu didn't elaborate further. In the coming days, Tao Master should send people to start gathering mortals from all over the world. We should be prepared when both the Mother Earths act up again. It would be meritorious if more people could be saved. Qin Mu took his leave. Tao Master Lin Xian looked to the peach forest and thought, an old friend of Cult Master Qin. He certainly has a wide circle of friends. Qin Mu left the Tao Sect Academy and headed towards the southern border. Peach kernels dangled all over the Dragon Chiline's head. The Dragon Chiline sensed that the girl beside Cult Master was still slicing peaches and feeding him. Qin Mu was so full he released continuous burps. Upon finally finishing Yanga's stash of peaches, he let out a sigh of relief. There's nothing else to feed me with, is there? Yanga quickly said, I'm fast. I will fly back to the peach forest and pluck more for you, you don't have to wait for me. Qin Mu immediately held on to her hand and begged, good sister, please stop feeding me. I really cannot eat anymore. I will make you some spirit pills, you can feed them instead. The Dragon Chiline, Water Chiline, and Celestial Venerable Yu revealed expressions of anticipation. Qin Mu concocted over a dozen cauldrons of spirit pills in one shot, categorizing them and organizing them carefully. He pointed out to Yanga which ones were for the Dragon Chiline, which were for the Water Chiline, and which were suitable for Celestial Venerable Yu, stating, don't overfeed them, they'll grow fat. Yanga took the spirit pills excitedly. Only God knows where she kept them, but they would reappear in her hands with a flip of her palm. She hopped between the Dragon Chiline and Water Chiline, feeding the three of them busily. Happiness filled her heart, and she felt a sense of fulfillment that she had never experienced before. Qin Mu watched this scene and grimaced. It won't take long before the three of them grow as round as balls. The spirit herbs in my Dao Tai sack are also running out, we should find a city to stop by and replenish the herbs. Days passed, and Qin Mu had completely used up his spirit herbs. The eternal peace empire of today was simply too vast. Qin Mu was unable to locate any cities along the way, so they could only continue hurrying along their journey. Yanga couldn't sit at ease now that she was no longer able to feed them. Qin Mu quickly assured her, in just over 10 days, we will reach Li River Academy. There, we will be able to purchase more herbs. Sister Yanga, please bear with it a little longer. After a couple of days, Yanga could bear it no longer. She transformed into a little green sparrow and flew off as she cried out, I will go look for food, go on without me, I will catch up with you soon. Qin Mu was unable to stop her in time. He could only watch, as the little green sparrow quickly flew off into the boundless divine mountains, and disappeared amidst the divine rays. Qin Mu had no choice, but to let the Dragon Chiline continue on their way. Soon after, the sky suddenly darkened. The group raised their heads only to see a large bird with green wings swooping over. Its wings spanned for miles, and it had razor-sharp claws that looked as though they were forged out of metal and stone. Gripped in its claws was a formidable-looking devil god. The devil god was more than 100 yards tall, and seemed to be a powerful half-god. However, now that he was caught and immobilized by the green bird, he wore a dejected look on his face, as though merely waiting for death to come. The group was dumbstruck by this sight. Yanga's voice emerged from the beak of the green bird. She cried out, I found food. Fatty dragon, you have the biggest appetite. Open your mouth. I will drop this in your mouth. The Dragon Chiline opened his mouth, but upon realizing that he wouldn't be able to stomach it, he shook his head quickly. Sister Yanga, I eat spirit pills, how could I eat meat? Moreover, this devil god is still alive, it's not cooked. The green bird folded its wings and landed, rolling the devil god on his back with a single sharp claw. Wait, it will be cooked shortly. She opened her beak, divine flames raging in her mouth, ready to grill this devil god well done. Everyone was stunned at this. The dragon Qin looked towards Qin Mu. Qin Mu's head started to hurt, as he immediately responded, Sister Yanga, we don't eat this. The green bird bewilderedly released the devil god and said, it's very delicious. When I was young, I ate this a lot. Why don't you try it? The devil god shivered in fear, laying flat on the ground and not daring to move even an inch. Qin Mu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Gods and devils aren't part of our diet. Sister Yanga, you don't have to waste your efforts on our rations. The devil god's gaze flickered as he tried to sneak off. Almost immediately, he was seized by one of the green bird's claws. Doubtfully, the green bird asked, you really don't want to eat this? Qin Mu, Celestial Venerable You, and the dragon Qin shook their heads in unison. The water Qin hesitated. He had the desire to eat, but since his master also shook his head, being unable to deviate, he had no choice but to shake his head in consensus, thinking to himself, what a pity. I have never had the chance to eat gods and devils before. The green bird pecked on the devil god, picking him up and swallowing him down as the group watched on in fear. She transformed back into the green-clad, dainty girl, and leaped onto the head of the dragon Qin moodily. Cold sweat rolled down the dragon Qilin's forehead profusely as he thought to himself, where exactly did cult master abduct this girl from? How formidable and brutal. Soon enough, the green-clothed girl flew off again, and brought back many fruits to feed them. Although the dragon Qin and water Qin didn't like to eat fruits, they forced themselves to anyway. Finally, they reached the Li River Academy. It was located near the southern seas, and just a few divine mountains away was the territory of the remaining survivors of Crimson Light. They were an extremely powerful race, and as such, this area was considerably tranquil. Qin Mu went to meet with Chancellor Ba Shan, and just as he expressed his reason for dropping by, he heard the miserable whines of the green bull, who was getting beaten up by the dragon Qin. Qin Mu pretended not to hear it, only to hear the water Qin beating the green bull this time. Celestial Venerable You sat before Chancellor Ba Shan tamely, also pretending that he heard nothing. Chancellor Ba Shan ran out hurriedly, and caught the dragon Qin and water Qin beating up the green bull together. His face darkened, and he turned around angrily. Junior brother, hurry up and break up this fight. Qin Mu and Celestial Venerable You promptly chided them and pulled them apart. The green bull crawled up and yelled, just you wait. I will ask my godfather to come. You better stay here. With that, he left angrily. The dragon Qin and water Qin stood up, putting their hands on their waists and looking proud of themselves as they replied, it doesn't make a difference if you ask your godfather to come, even if you ask your grandfather to come, we will still beat you up. I have long found this bull to be an eyesore. Always holding that peony in his mouth and scrunching his bull nose up to the sky. Chancellor Ba Shan sighed in relief, turning to Qin Mu. You may not know this, but the Li River Academy is different from other academies. We are split into many different skills and factions here. There are my battle techniques faction and Chancellor Yu Zhaoqing's nature faction. Even Crimson Light Son of God of the Creation faction comes down to give lessons. These few days, Teacher Heaven Knife and Martial Arts Heavenly Teacher are here together to help forge the city defenses and teach martial arts and knife skills. Grandpa Butcher and Martial Arts Heavenly Teacher Guan Cha are both here. Qin Mu was overjoyed to hear this news. Suddenly, he remembered something and probed. So who exactly is the green bull's godfather? The sound of the dragon Qin and water Qin calling out traveled indoors. The dragon Qin cried out, Big Brother Sanduo. I didn't know he was your godson. Please stop hitting me. Senior Brother Sanduo, do you remember how we smoked water pipes together? Big sister, save me. As they were listening to the commotion, a white figure flashed by. A young girl of 8 to 9 years of age sprinted in and headed straight towards Qin Mu, her white fox tail bobbing around behind her. She suddenly sprinted to Qin Mu's side, circling him as she transformed into a white fox, and climbed atop his shoulder. A few of her tails wrapped around his neck, and she climbed onto his head, finally covering his entire face with the rest of the furry white tail. Linga. Qin Mu was delighted and plucked the little fox off his head. Just as he was about to take a good look at it, the white fox popped out of his hand and climbed back onto his head with her tail in his face again. Stop fooling around, Linga, I have already guessed that it was you. Qin Mu took her down again, and the white fox was now more behaved. She wrapped her tail around his arm, forming a nest on his chest before she laid down comfortably. Her body was curled up, and she blinked at him from time to time, looking at Qin Mu's face with her sparkling black eyes. The little fox looked very charming as she blinked. Young master, she called out. Qin Mu gave a sound of acknowledgement. Hu Linga called out to him again, and Qin Mu responded again. Assured, the little white fox squinted her eyes and pretended to sleep, lifting up her furry tail sneakily to tickle Qin Mu's chin. Beside them, Yanga was very happy to see Linga, removing her from Qin Mu's arms. Quickly, Hu Linga escaped and crawled back into his arms. Yanga carried her over again, and just as Hu Linga was about to escape yet again, a spirit pill was stuffed into her mouth. Instantly, she stopped moving and laid docile in Yanga's arms. Chancellor Ba Shan said, Hu Linga is now in charge of the demon faculty of Li River Academy. Once you step out of this door, the place with the foulest atmosphere within the academy is the faculty. However, as Hu Linga has a wide circle of friends, she managed to invite the likes of Fox Immortal, White Immortal, Senior Tiger, Grandmaster, and Mingju Heavenly King to come down and give lessons. Now the demon faculty is a lot more prosperous compared to the other faculties. One thing about her is that Chancellor, who likes it when people call her big sister. This is just how Linga is. The Green Bull and Fatty Dragon are her sworn younger brothers. Qin Mu didn't know how to react to this. He looked sideways at the little fox nestled in Yanga's arms, counting each and every strand of Hu Linga's tail. Her tails danced around vigorously, dazzling his eyes. Even after counting for a long time, he was still unable to make out exactly how many tails she had. Truth to be told, Mingju Heavenly King Tian Shu is her sworn brother. Fatty Dragon, too, became sworn brothers with this Heavenly King. The Heavenly King's relationship with Linga is actually much better than it is with Fatty Dragon, because he likes to drink too. Qin Mu was astonished. I didn't expect for Linga to be able to invite Grandmaster to come here and give lessons. Chancellor Ba Shan slapped his thigh hard. I was still wondering why Mingju Heavenly King kept coming to my place. I thought it was because he admired me, but in actuality, he was just interested in my wine. Chancellor, who even managed to invite Shingan to Li River Academy to give classes, though it was merely for a few lessons. I think these notorious fellows won't be accepted by the other academies anyway. Only my Li River Academy is open-minded enough to allow these unorthodox cultivators to come and teach. Qin Mu remained silent, thinking to himself, Senior Brother Ba Shan's Li River Academy is indeed the most chaotic one among its peers. Before he reached Li River Academy, Qin Mu had already noticed from afar that the skies above Li River Academy were shrouded by chaotic phenomena. The acute spirits, such as the ferocious tiger descending the mountain, the white elephant treading the seas, or the ravenous eagle hunting for prey, of martial practitioners could be observed. Similarly, Qin Mu could see the terrifying devilish apparitions conjured by the experts of the devil path, the demonic clouds summoned by the experts of the demon race, the sword energy of the sword experts, and even the enchanted clouds formed by the spells experts. B.A. Shan said that the demon faculty had a foul atmosphere, but it was actually the whole of Li River Academy that had a foul atmosphere. Yet it was also thanks to this that the different divine arts and skills could come into contact, and that differing schools of thought could be shared. After Qin Mu arrived at Li River Academy, he already realized that this was the wildest academy around. He had witnessed no less than a dozen big and small fights along the way to the academy alone. The directorate and the chancellor were unconcerned by this. In fact, they even encouraged and cheered them on, taking pride in the fights won by their own disciples. Chancellor B.A. Shan's gaze flickered, and he continued, "Junior brother, you came here to learn, so you should know that merely listening to lectures is not the best way to gain knowledge." Qin Mu responded with an "oh" and humbly asked, "Senior brother, what's the best way?" Chancellor B.A. Shan chuckled. "Naturally, it's by fighting it out. The various faculties of my Li River Academy are all accomplished. The reforms of Eternal Peace Empire weren't pioneered by the Imperial College. The Imperial College is far too orthodox. They are overly cautious in the development of skills and divine arts for fear of offending the Emperor. Here, the heavens are high, and the Emperor is far. Emperor Yangfeng has no jurisdiction over this place. As such, martial arts and divine arts of all sorts can be developed freely here in Li River Academy." Chancellor B.A. Shan stood up, gently shaking his overcoat and revealing his broad chest and muscular body. He continued calmly, "The functionality of any divine art or skill can only be judged after it has been used in real combat. If you come to Li River Academy to seek knowledge, you are naturally expected to fight through the various faculties at least once." Qin Mu revealed his apprehension. "Fight through the faculties? That's not a very good idea, is it?" Chancellor B.A. Shan gave him a look of disdain. "Junior brother, are you afraid?" Qin Mu nodded his head vigorously, sighing. "Yanga likes to feed others, and she has emptied my stash of spirit medicine. I replenished the stock once on the way here, and even that is almost depleted. If I injure the Chancellor and Directorate of Li River Academy, I have nothing left to heal you." Chancellor B.A. Shan clenched his fists, so hard the bones creaked loudly. He chuckled again. "Junior brother has improved again, after all these years out there. You speak with more boldness now, and even your breathing is heavier." Qin Mu's breath weakened, and he responded feebly, "I am definitely nowhere as good as senior brother. Senior brother has long broken through the divine bridge and became a god. I have just barely opened up the celestial river divine treasure. I don't even know how much longer I will have to cultivate to ascend to the celestial palace. Grandpa Butcher must have taught you new knife skills. Martial arts heavenly teacher probably also imparted some good stuff to you. Senior brother may even have learned a thing or two from Crimson Light Son of God. I don't dare to claim to be any better than you, senior brother." Chancellor B.A. Shan waved his hands hurriedly. "I'm not as hard-working as you. You are the overlord body, and you are more diligent than me. I definitely cannot win against you in a fight. At most, I can only beat you half to death." Qin Mu stretched his body, the roar of a dragon emerging from inside him. He laughed. "Grandpa Butcher is right here. How could he bear to watch me beat the teeth out of his favorite disciple? Teacher Heaven Knife certainly wouldn't allow me to beat you senseless. That old man would take his knife and come at me if he ever saw me beat you until you were immobile." The two of them continued to talk and made their way outside. Qin Mu executed the Overlord Body 3 elixir technique and loosened up his body. Chancellor B.A. Shan unsheathed his tyrant knife, holding it in front of him as he opened his mouth to release the fiery tempest to refine his divine blade. Yang blinked as she watched them walk out of the door. Hu Ling quickly leaped out of her arms, transforming into a young girl as she touched the ground. At the precise moment she opened her mouth to speak, Yang placed a spirit pill in it. Young master is going out for a fight. Can he win? Yang continued to feed her and said, the other man is very formidable, his primordial spirit has been cultivated to a powerful level. Hu Ling chewed on the spirit pill noisily. Young master is formidable too, it would be difficult for Chancellor Ba Shan to hurt him badly. Can this spirit pill be made hollow? If every spirit pill was infused with some good wine, the taste would be even better. Celestial Venerable Yu walked over to them, and just as he opened his mouth, Yang fed him a spirit pill. Celestial Venerable Yu mumbled in a muffled voice, add wine into spirit pills. Will that taste good? Hu Ling glanced at him and broke into a smile. So you are Lan Yutian, young Master Lan. I heard about you when I visited the capital city. You are young master's younger brother, so why is your surname Lan? Spirit pills infused with wine definitely would taste good. I have yet to eat it like that though. Usually, I will eat these spirit pills on a plate, pairing it with wine. Senior brother Sanduo tried it and agreed it was good. I feel that infusing wine in the spirit pills would definitely make it taste even better. Celestial Venerable Yu was eager to try it for himself. When the three of them emerged from the hall, Qin Mu and Chancellor Ba Shan had already started to exchange blows outside. The both of them fought straight up into the sky. Chancellor Ba Shan was the founder of the fusion of battle techniques and spells. The political reforms in the Eternal Peace Empire could also be partially attributed to him. All these years, as divine arts in Eternal Peace Empire grew exponentially, Chancellor Ba Shan's battle techniques and skills improved even more dramatically. The southern borders were located in a secluded geographical area, but the convergence of techniques here was the most unruly. As such, skills and divine arts were able to advance and improve at a rapid pace. Furthermore, following the guidance of experts like martial arts heavenly teachers were Cha, Butcher Heaven Knife, Crimson Light Son of God, and Shingan allowed Chancellor Ba Shan's abilities to improve even more. He was able to make drastic advancements whether in martial arts battle techniques or divine arts. Chancellor Ba Shan learned from Butcher Heaven Knife, picking up the 9 skills of Heaven Knife. However, Butcher was forced to fake his own death and go into hiding in the Great Ruins after he raised his knives to the heavens and had his body chopped off as punishment. Unable to learn the complete 9 skills of Heaven Knife, Chancellor Ba Shan created his own technique, the 7 techniques of Tyrant Knife, using the fusion of battle techniques to compensate for where he was lacking in the knife path. When Butcher later re-emerged, he had found it improper, stating that his knife technique was unorthodox. Now, however, Chancellor Ba Shan had managed to walk out a steady path of his own, even earning the respect of Butcher Heaven Knife. He had divine arts within his knife techniques, his tyrant knife filled with immense power and a domineering aura. Chancellor Ba Shan interchanged between close quarters and ranged attacks against Qin Mu with almost no difficulty. He was also incredibly strong, forcing Qin Mu out almost 100 yards with each strike before he could even stabilize himself. Chancellor Ba Shan pressed hard on Qin Mu, his knife techniques constantly changing. At times it was engulfed in divine flames, and in the next, it bore heaven's thunder. A strike of his knife would cause the flashes to burst out into an ocean of light, and cutting down with a wave of his knife could cause a magnetic explosion. Qin Mu had an abnormally difficult fight, being forced to retreat with every blow. Within Li River Academy, Neo Sanduo and the Green Bull stopped beating up the Dragon Chileen and Water Chileen. They looked up to the skies and praised, "What great knife skills! Amazing divine arts! Chancellor Ba Shan is so impressive. He managed to balance the fusion of the battle techniques masterfully. If he used this on the divine arts of the martial path, he would definitely be able to make the martial arts path become more powerful. The green bull put his 2 hooves on his hips, exclaiming with pride, "My old master defeated your master, my godfather beat you until you cried. Fatty dragon, let's see how you are going to go against me in the future." The old farmer and butcher walked over, raising their heads to take a look at the fight. The old farmer said, "Your disciple is quite capable, but he is about to lose this fight." Yu Jiaoqing walked over, dressed head to toe in brilliant light and vibrant colors. He looked to the skies and said, "Martial arts heavenly teacher, why would you make such a comment?" Chancellor Ba Shan's fusion of battle techniques can be said to be unparalleled in the Eternal Peace Empire. If we only compared sheer power among the gods, he is almost matchless. I have seen him in combat with Senior Tiger, and even Senior Tiger could not defeat him. Butcher began to explain, "It is definitely no easy feat for him to come this far with his fusion of battle techniques. However, it is even more difficult to enter the path with knife skills, martial arts, and divine arts altogether. Even as the founder of the fusion of battle techniques, his aptitude is still inferior compared to the 6th princess of the Ling family. As long as Mu executes his divine arts, Chancellor Ba Shan will be defeated." The old farmer commented, "He is too greedy. It is already incredibly rare to be able to enter the path with one attribute, much less all 3. Ignoring everything else, it is already rare to be able to enter the path with martial arts. Son of Qin is one example of those who succeeded." As he spoke, a clattering sound rang out. There were several people going up the mountain now. A handsome youth stood atop a chest that had 6 legs growing from it and ascended the mountain as easily as he was walking on flat ground. Right behind this strange chest was a deer-legged youth who was walking alongside a purple-clad teenager. "Shingan." Butcher snorted coldly, his divine blade unsheathing with a crisp sound. The chest sprinted over and stopped abruptly in front of everyone. The youth on the chest continued to watch the battle in the clouds, only retracting his gaze when he heard the sound of the blade. He spoke calmly, "Heaven Knife, you are no match for me." Butcher laughed out loud. "Back in the day, I wonder who it was that managed to make you run about flustered. Rumor has it that you went to the Southern Sea to beg Crimson Light Son of God to use creation divine arts to reforge your body. You no longer have to go around stealing the bodies of others. Did your body just grow out? I won't take advantage of you. If you want revenge, feel free to look for me anytime." Shingan shook his head. "I am not interested in you. I am here to see Cult Master Qin. What an attractive body." His gaze revealed a look of fanaticism as he continued to stare upwards at Qin Mu, who was still in battle with Chancellor Ba Shan. Crimson Light Son of God walked over and smiled. "Do not misunderstand, Heaven Knife. Shingan is only here because he has a difficult problem he would like Cult Master Qin to solve for him. His insights on creation techniques are on par with me, and he previously came to the Southern Seas to consult me about it. Although I helped him to resolve part of his problem, he still felt that this reforged body had some deficiencies. He decided to come forth and seek out Cult Master Qin, after I told him that Cult Master Qin was the true expert in all things regarding creation techniques." Shingan added indifferently, "On the path of creation, Cult Master Qin is second to none. After him, I am tied with Crimson Light Son of God." Crimson Light Son of God gave a slight smile and remained silent. His smile revealed his conceit. Evidently, he didn't agree with Shingan. He didn't realize that I was only being humble when I said we were on par. However, it's true that I wasn't able to solve his problem. Only Son of Yudu can help him. Up in the skies, Qin Mu was still fighting a losing battle. Chancellor Ba Shan felt the battle was going smoothly. He couldn't help but let out a series of howls. He wanted to exhibit all that he had mastered in his lifetime. As Li River Academy's Grand Chancellor, any gains from reforms within the academy would naturally go through him. Chancellor Ba Shan was restricted by his own skills and divine arts, hitting a bottleneck in advancements. He was thus hellbent on mastering the other divine arts, hoping to make use of them to help him achieve his personal breakthroughs. However, a worthy opponent was hard to come by. He was situated in an awkward position. The fusion of battle techniques and spells made his attacks so powerful that few within the same realm could withstand a single blow from him. However, not entering the path meant that he would be defeated in 1 or 2 blows from opponents like Butcher and Shingan. Either way, he had no opportunity for contest or to show off his skills. Chancellor Ba Shan was in the early stages of his transformation, which also happened to be the most depressing and helpless phase. He was very talented, but talent alone wouldn't help him evolve. He needed to be pressured, yet it was difficult to find anyone who could push him. The one time that he was truly given the opportunity to exhibit all his skills was when he faced the Black Tiger God. However, the Black Tiger God followed the woodcutter around in his travels and thus had only dropped by the academy once. This time, having the thick-skinned and resistant to beating Qin Mu around finally allowed Chancellor Ba Shan to completely and satisfactorily demonstrate all of the skills and techniques that he had mastered so far. Qin Mu was here to study the reform results in Li River Academy, yet he was now merely a tool for Chancellor Ba Shan to hone his skills, allowing him to freely execute any skills and divine arts. Furthermore, Qin Mu's ability to adapt was astonishing. Although he was retreating, his moves were intricate, and he was able to digest the techniques of Li River that Chancellor Ba Shan executed and retaliate with the same moves. Furthermore, Qin Mu was doing this in less than 2 moves. He also managed to find loopholes in Chancellor Ba Shan's techniques, forcing the latter to ceaselessly make changes and improve. Qin Mu was a whetstone that could push Chancellor Ba Shan to become a brighter and sharper blade. Such an opponent was truly few and far between. The senior brother is not feeding moves to his junior brother. Instead, it is the junior brother guiding the senior brother. The old farmer shook his head at Butcher. Son of Qin is better than you at teaching your disciple. Butcher nodded, replying, Ba Shan lacks in heroism, he fails to learn my knife skills, yet still he tries to imitate me. He isn't smart enough to comprehend the ultimate arts of entering the path either. Fortunately, I died once. This made him walk out of my shadow and pioneer his own skill of the fusion of battle techniques. However, I am no longer able to guide him. The old farmer gave some thought to his words. Knowing to let go makes you a good teacher. Butcher chuckled. Has martial arts heavenly teacher opened the celestial river divine treasure? The old farmer sighed and shook his head. Great Emperor of the martial path was given his title because he ascended the celestial palace directly without opening the 7th divine treasure. However, it's also because he doesn't have the 7th divine treasure that he is slightly weaker compared to the other strong practitioners of the Emperor's throne. Butcher spoke unhurriedly. Only when the 7 divine treasures are complete and the celestial river is opened can the great Emperor of the martial path truly live up to his title. When the celestial river divine treasure is open, the celestial river will connect all the divine treasures. You will become one of the most formidable practitioners of the Emperor's throne in the world. Your accomplishment will be lauded beyond time. The old farmer's face crumpled, and he replied dryly, I am slightly dumber. I sat by the surging river for days, and still have yet to sense the power of the celestial river. Perhaps the woodcutter was right when he said that I'm only bronze without brains. Butcher didn't know whether to laugh or to cry at this. At this moment, thunder and lightning crossed in the skies, and countless blade flashes pierced through. The lightning was directed by the knife flashes, and entered the tyrant knife with popping and crackling noises. The flash of the blade split up mid-air, multiplying rapidly and converging into a huge tide, surging towards Qin Mu. Butcher and the old farmer, along with the rest of the onlookers, looked towards Chancellor Ba Shan with quiet admiration. Butcher commented, Ba Shan's fusion of battle techniques and skills has improved tremendously. However, he is still unable to enter the path, whether through the use of knives, lightning spells, or even martial arts, he is still lacking. The old farmer was surprised. Strangely, his power is terrifyingly strong. As he spoke, Qin Mu was suddenly enshrouded in innumerable apparitions, as though there were countless Qin Mus demonstrating the ultimate arts of the martial path. The sky burst open amidst this phenomena, metamorphosing into a powerful and magnificent palm. Return of thousand palms beyond the strange peaks of heavens. The power of his palm clashed against Ba Shan's tyrant knife. The blade flashes shone brilliantly in all directions, flattening out and splitting the surrounding miles of clouds into two distinct levels. Upon executing this move, Qin Mu's figure flickered, a sword pellet materialized in his hand, transforming into a tyrant knife. Qin Mu circled Ba Shan in the air, executing moves of the fusion battle techniques that were exactly what Chancellor Ba Shan had only just executed. Every single move and technique was vividly demonstrated beyond compare. The only difference in the moves was that all the deficiencies had been mended and the loopholes repaired. Ba Shan stood still in the air and watched as Qin Mu demonstrated his own ultimate arts around him. Even though the moves weren't powerful enough, they were still incredibly intricate and encompassed the essence of the techniques. After a short period, Qin Mu executed the 7 techniques of tyrant knife. Midway through the 8th technique, Qin Mu abruptly stopped. Qin Mu halted the blade flash. Chancellor Ba Shan felt a stuffiness in his chest. He was so upset he almost threw up blood. In a fit of rage, Chancellor Ba Shan's tyrant knife continued along the path that was drawn out by Qin Mu's blade flash, slicing downwards as he yelled, "This is how you are supposed to do it." The flashes of their blades collided. Ba Shan used his tyrant knife to guide Qin Mu's blade, completing the execution of the 8th technique. Chancellor Ba Shan's 7 techniques of tyrant knife was initially formed on the foundations of Butcher's 9 skills of heaven knife. After becoming the Grand Chancellor of Li River Academy, he created the 8th technique based upon the foundations of the 7th technique. Qin Mu executing only half of his 8th technique. While it may not matter in the eyes of outsiders, Ba Shan felt a pent-up urge to execute it completely. Qin Mu smiled slightly, allowing his knife and divine arts to follow the direction of Ba Shan's tyrant knife. Chancellor Ba Shan executed his 8th technique, and just as he was about to retreat, Qin Mu's knife suddenly pulled along his tyrant knife, guiding him into a whole new realm. Chancellor Ba Shan was stunned. He felt as though in a single instant, his magic powers, divine arts, knife, and martial arts had found a gate to surge through. His knife continued to follow the movements of Qin Mu's blade. It felt like he had knocked down the gates that were trapping him, and he was now able to let out all of his aspirations unrestrictedly. The sky lit up in an instant, thunder and lightning spiraled into a huge vortex, as bolts of lightning merged together to form huge and thick rays of light that poured through its center to connect to the tyrant knife. Shining brighter and more dazzling than the sun, the knife in Chancellor Ba Shan's hands had now become the bridge that linked the magnificent powers of heaven and earth. The 9th technique of tyrant knife. The blade in Qin Mu's hands was gone. It was no longer guiding the tyrant knife. Nevertheless, Chancellor Ba Shan had already broken through the fog that shrouded his vision and found his path. He struck out to his heart's content, the brilliant flashes of his knife accompanied by the display of thunder and lightning. The vortex of thunder and lightning swirled around like a whirlpool, as a vast sea of flames emerged behind Ba Shan. The flames surged and poured into the knife, flooding it with the full power of the fusion of battle techniques and skills. Ba Shan's fusion of battle techniques had reached a whole new level. He was originally already at the edge of the path, yet due to a lack of wisdom, he was unable to advance any further. Qin Mu helped to patch his shortcomings and walked him through this crucial step. This single step brought Ba Shan into a whole new world. He was now able to continue walking the path himself, without the further guidance of Qin Mu. Chancellor Ba Shan rolled around, executing moves. The flashes of his blade split apart heaven and earth, forming a vast sea that slashed through the sky. The sky was now incomparably blue, as though it was washed clean. Qin Mu laughed heartily and approached Ba Shan, calling out, "Senior brother Ba Shan, from today onwards, you are the grandmaster of the fusion of battle techniques and skills." Ba Shan stopped his moves abruptly, standing still in the air. He wore an expression of mingled feelings as tears rolled out of his eyes. This brute stood there, clutching his knife, remaining speechless for a long time. Suddenly, he held his knife in both hands and bowed down in the air. He kneeled down and bowed his head even lower. "Thank you, junior brother." Qin Mu kneeled down hurriedly to return his respects and chuckled. "Senior brother, I merely noticed that you were lacking one final step that caused you to remain pacing outside the gates. I am unversed in this area, and thus could only walk you through this step to help you enter. Entering the path through battle techniques and skills and becoming Grandmaster was all entirely of your own efforts." The two of them stood up, looking at each other and laughing loudly as they descended from the sky. Pan Gongtso revealed an expression of doubt and asked, "Chancellor Ba Shan didn't seem to have entered the path through martial arts or knives, and neither did he enter the path through divine arts. Strange, how did his cultivation suddenly rise by so much?" Beside him, Shingan replied, "He entered the path using the fusion of battle techniques and skills, taking the shortcut, and creating his own system. Cult Master Qin followed in his direction, and gifted him a single step. This step resulted in his meteoric rise." Crimson Light Son of God nodded in agreement. Chancellor Ba Shan initially tried to improve himself by working diligently on the martial arts path, knife path, and path of divine arts altogether. However, it's extremely difficult to enter the path using all three skills. He was already on the wrong path. Cult Master Qin used the eighth technique of his tyrant knife to guide him into abandoning the three paths and continuing on his own path. This single step Cult Master Qin gifted him allowed him to become Grandmaster of a generation. Pan Gongtso was shocked. He lowered his voice and asked, "That brat of surname Qin, is he that formidable?" "He's not formidable, he's smart." Shingan walked towards Qin Mu, and the chest followed behind, making clattering noises. At Qin Mu's feet, the chest circled him and nudged his legs. "Shingan." Qin Mu touched the chest before greeting Shingan and said with a smile, "Every time you appear, you look different. So whose body is this?" "This is the real me." Shingan returned his greeting with a serious expression. "This is what I looked like in my youth." Qin Mu's heart stirred slightly, and he probed, "Creation divine arts. Reforged body. Previously, you went around seeking out the bodies of others, chopping off the strongest body parts of highly accomplished cultivation practitioners to piece together a body and a primordial spirit. I can understand how you may have reforged your own body, but how did you manage to reforge your primordial spirit? This is exactly why I have come to see you." Young Shingan continued with some difficulty, "I no longer know if the present me is still me. Previously, to extend my own life, and to explore the divine arts and skills, I studied my own body and primordial spirit to the extreme, dissecting it, and then stealing the bodies and primordial spirits of others for my own use. However, The Eternal Peace Empire's reforms today made me realize the growing drawbacks of this method. I now feel that only by returning to my original self can I advance any further. Only, I can no longer find my own soul, or the real me. Even though I have returned to the body of my younger self, it is still not the true me. I am now utterly terrified. You should have thought of the consequences of your actions. Qin Mu sneered. You want me to gather and reforge your soul. Pardon me for not being able to comply with your wishes. Suddenly, the chest opened on its own. Qin Mu's gaze fell onto the contents of the chest, and his heart leaped. Young Shingan also looked to the contents with some reluctance, yet he still replied firmly, Is this price enough to buy your assistance? Qin Mu composed himself and closed the chest, responding in a solemn tone, It's sufficient. Where did you obtain this item? Qin Mu looked away from the chest and questioned. Young Shingan let out a sigh of relief. When the primordial realm broke through the seals, I noticed that there was an area in the ancient ruins that was enshrouded in divine rays. I went in to search around, and thereafter obtained this item. Crimson Light Son of God, Butcher, and the other onlookers came forward to see the chest, but it was now shut, and they couldn't see what was contained within it. However, there were few treasures in the world that could sway Qin Mu's heart. Even things like the Emperor's Throne technique couldn't make him waver. This implied that whatever was in that chest must be of extraordinary value. The dragon Qilin approached the chest. Nudging it, he whispered, Good brother, what's inside? Can you let me see it? Hu Linga tried to crack open a slit in the chest, yet it remained tightly sealed, not allowing them to see its contents. Where are the ruins that you obtained this item? Qin Mu continued solemnly, This item isn't of much use to me. The most important thing to me is the location of the ruins. If you want me to save you, tell me where it is. There's a geographical map in the chest. Shingan added, If you help me, I will give you everything in the chest, including the geographical map. If you are still not assured, I can escort you there personally. Qin Mu looked him deeply in the eyes and nodded, turning to Chancellor Ba Shan. Senior brother, please lend me a space so I can cast a spell for this guy and reforge his soul. Chancellor Ba Shan immediately cleared out the main hall, Li River Hall. Qin Mu lifted the chest up and walked into the hall, placing the chest beside him. Shingan followed behind and looked towards the chest. The chest was able to walk on its own, yet Qin Mu still stubbornly insisted on carrying it. Evidently, the item that Shingan had found was of great importance to Qin Mu. Taking this artifact to Qin Mu proved to be the right move to make. Within the hall, the gate of heaven influence emerged behind Qin Mu. He started to work on the spell to gather Shingan's scattered soul. Shingan was a saint from the previous generation that appeared only once in 500 years, and he was remarkably intelligent and talented. However, due to the restraints from his generation, he was unable to become a god. He was different from the current saint, Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor. Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor was wholeheartedly devoted to the reforms of Eternal Peace Empire, pursuing his ambitions with utmost passion, and without a care for his own life. In comparison, Shingan was wholeheartedly devoted to studying the ways of prolonging his own life. Shingan took an unorthodox route, killing many practitioners who were nearly gods, taking the body parts that were cultivated to the god realm, and assembling them together so that he could remain youthful. Later, he made further advancements in his research, slicing apart even his primordial spirit and his own soul, piecing together a new primordial spirit with the souls and spirits of others. As time went by, Shingan began to lose himself, no longer knowing who he was. Furthermore, the physical body and soul of another would ultimately limit his achievements. In the present booming era of skills, his inability to return to his original self would doom him to elimination. To Qin Mu, reforging Shingan's soul was a walk in the park. He could do it effortlessly. After all, Shingan wasn't a being the likes of Mother Earth or goddess of heavenly yin. Furthermore, he wasn't worried that Shingan would be able to learn the soul guide. Since he wasn't the son of Yudu, he could forget about cultivating the true gate of heaven influence. Even more crucially, if one didn't have a good relationship with Heaven Duke and Earth Count, stealing the powers of these two ancient gods to reforge a soul would most likely guarantee death. After a while, the spell was done. Shingan sat down in a lotus position, carefully sensing the reappearance of his own soul. He felt a myriad of emotions that were indescribable. Qin Mu opened the chest. Lined up neatly inside was a collection of physical bodies belonging to divine beings, many of which were half-gods, who had already cultivated to the god realm. There were also many primordial spirits locked up inside by Shingan using bizarre techniques. There were all sorts of primordial spirits that were of strange and unique varieties and from different races. However, what drew Qin Mu's attention wasn't this collection, rather it was a token made of jade, one that was very similar to the celestial Venerable Mu token. The chest spat out the token, and it landed in Qin Mu's hand. Qin Mu flipped the token over, and a single Qin character was carved onto its back in ancient god writing. Celestial Venerable Qin's token. Back when Qin Mu and Nyo Sanduo traveled to the first year of Dragon Han, Qin Mu met Founding Emperor at the Celestial River. Their huge battle at the Jade Pool meeting shook the heavens. Celestial Venerable Yu, seeing that both of them possessed remarkable abilities and were extraordinary, surpassing the human race, ancient gods, and half-gods of that period, had sent a memorial to Celestial Emperor for them to be rewarded. Celestial Emperor then bestowed upon them the title of Celestial Venerable. Qin Mu, under the alias Mu Qing, was conferred the title Celestial Venerable Mu, while Founding Emperor Qin Yi, under the alias Qin Kai, was conferred the title Celestial Venerable Qin. Qin Mu and Founding Emperor were now equals with the 7 Celestial Venerables. Together, they were known as the 9 Celestial Venerables. Additionally, Celestial Emperor bestowed upon them each an edict and a token. This was the reason he immediately agreed to help Shingan reforge his soul upon seeing the token. Qin Mu tossed about Celestial Venerable Qin's token several times, looking at it before putting it in his Dao Tai sack. He glanced over at Shingan. At the moment, Shingan was executing a technique to strengthen his newly reforged soul that was still in a weakened state. Qin Mu retrieved the geographical map from the chest, giving it a few looks. This map was of the present-time primordial realm, and there were far too many unfamiliar areas, so he was unable to make anything of it. Even with the geographical map, I will need Shingan to escort me there. Qin Mu put away the map and walked out of Li River Hall. Outside the hall, Butcher transformed into a ray of blade flash and flew towards him laughing. Mua, didn't you want to learn about the reforms in Li River Academy? I will be waiting for you in the Heaven Knife faculty. Qin Mu let go of his thoughts and chuckled. Grandpa Butcher, you will get beaten to death by me. Butcher laughed heartily as a blade flash landed in one of the academy buildings, the Heaven Knife faculty. With a turn of his purple robes, Crimson Light Son of God disappeared in a flash. A voice rang out, saying, Son of Yudu, I await your arrival in the Creation faculty. The old farmer walked off, speaking calmly, Martial Arts faculty. Come find me for a beating. Qin Mu's face darkened, and Yu Jiaoqing giggled. Nature faculty. I will be waiting for Cult Master to come by. Pan Gong Tso was filled with a sense of heroism in that instant. He laughed and said, Cult Master Qin, I will face you in the Shaman faculty. Most of the strong practitioners returned to their own faculties to await Qin Mu's arrival. Hu Linga too became excited, riding off on a demon cloud. She exclaimed, Young master, I await your challenge in the demon faculty. Qin Mu scratched his head. Linga seems to be mistaken. I am here to learn the divine arts, and I won't even be able to learn demon spells. However, it's rare to see her in such high spirits, So after challenging the other faculties, I will head to her side to sit and talk with her so that the little girl won't be upset. The faculties of Lee River Academy seem to be difficult to mess with. Of course, besides Grandmaster, there were over 20 faculties in Lee River Academy: Sword Path faculty, Devil Path faculty, God Path faculty, and so on. They were all strong in their own way. Qin Mu went around challenging each and every one of them. His goal was to learn the reforms of Lee River Academy, and thus he challenged the various faculties using the divine arts techniques of Lee River Academy, where he had his fair share of both victories and defeats. The worst loss he experienced was against Pangong Tso of the Shaman faculty. They competed based on escape techniques, and Qin Mu was utterly defeated. Qin Mu tried to salvage his pride by challenging Pangong Tso to shaman skills, but the latter refused and disappeared soon after winning. Qin Mu had the easiest win in the creation faculty. Regarding the technique of creation, Crimson Light Son of God was still inferior to Qin Mu despite him having a level of cultivation that was far beyond that of Qin Mu's. The most relaxed challenge was in Hu Linga's demon faculty. Qin Mu and Hu Linga played around for a while before drinking with the Fox Immortal and the other demons until they were dead drunk. Qin Mu was brutally beaten up in the old farmer's martial arts faculty. He was beaten up the moment he stepped into the faculty, and he was relentlessly beaten until he could no longer stand. Finally, the most heartwarming exchange was still in the Heaven Knife faculty. Both grandpa and grandson fought against each other, stopping at times. As Butcher seriously guided Qin Mu in his knife techniques cultivation, hoping that he would be able to enter the path through knives, Qin Mu was reminded of his time back in disabled elderly village. It was truly a sentimental moment. When he wasn't in a crazed state, Butcher had the warmth of an elder figure. On this day, Shingan emerged from Lee River Hall and said to Qin Mu, "Cult Master Qin, we can leave now." Qin Mu said his goodbyes to the others, turning to Butcher. "Grandpa Butcher, this journey may be fraught with numerous dangers, so I'll let Lan Yutian remain here first and allow him to study the paths and techniques of Lee River. Please take good care of him. You don't need to teach him skills, but do supervise him in his cultivation." Butcher glanced at Shingan. "I'm wary of this little one. This fellow is ruthless, and I'm afraid that he may lay his hands on you when you are alone with him. Mua, a tiger cannot change its stripes. The way he looks at you is strange. I suspect that he really wants to obtain your body." Qin Mu replied calmly, "Shingan won't be able to touch me." Butcher remained slightly uneasy. Qin Mu called the dragon Chilin and Yanger over, and they began their journey together with Shingan. Shingan took out a dragon from the chest. When he breathed on it, the divine dragon immediately came to life. It rode on the clouds, weaving in and out of the fog with incredible speed. Qin Mu sat on the dragon Chilin's head as the dragon Chilin rode on fire clouds, sprinting after the divine dragon. "Cult Master Qin, this glutton of yours, his cultivation speed is pretty fast." Shingan turned to look around and said, "Surprised, Cult Master Qin didn't bring any experts along in this journey with me. It seems like you are at ease with me." Qin Mu replied in an indifferent manner, "Shingan, back in the day you were truly outstanding. In the Battle of Heavenly Saint Academy, the experts of disabled elderly village and Eternal Peace Empire were almost entirely defeated by you. However, times are different now. Your abilities are no longer as remarkable as they were. I don't need to have any other experts around to travel with you." Shingan responded calmly, "You underestimate me. Although I know I took a wrong path, amongst my peers, there are still only a few who can be my match. Even Sword God Su is slightly weaker than me. You should have called along some experts, because you are very attractive to me. Just by looking at the contents in my chest, you should already be aware that I have yet to completely abandon my previous path." Qin Mu laughed out loud. Taking the opportunity, when he opened his mouth to laugh, Yang fed him a scarlet fire spirit pill. Qin Mu's expression darkened. Just as he was about to spit it out, he realized that the taste was surprisingly good, and he swallowed it down with devilish impulse. No wonder Fatty Dragon likes to eat scarlet fire spirit pills so much. I didn't know that it actually tasted so good. Bah, bah. This is to feed Fatty Dragon. With Yang on his side, Qin Mu felt he was full of courage. Even with the dragon Qilin sprinting with all his might and traveling through the nights, they still used almost 2 months before they reached the ancient ruins that Shingan spoke of. The dragon Qilin descended, and the divine dragon beneath Shingan's feet also gradually landed. The divine dragon slowly shrank in size, flying back into the open chest. Shingan held the chest and said softly, "This is the place. I narrowly escaped death here, and almost didn't make it out alive." Qin Mu looked forward, only to see a destroyed divine mountain with brilliantly colored divine rays gushing out of it. There was a bright light shifting amidst the divine rays. Qin Mu was about to inspect it when a ball of bright light flew out of the rays, and a blade flash emerged from the light, spanning dozens of miles. "Isn't this similar to your sword technique?" Beside Qin Mu, Shingan continued, "I obtained the token with the Qin character right here. Upon seeing that sword technique that looked similar to yours, I determined that this artifact would be able to move you." Qin Mu's heart and mind pounded slightly. The carefree sword was giving off low hums again. Part 337 and 338 end here. Thank you for watching.